fellas, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, and we continue on with our Epic Siege series here. This gives you a little bit of a window inside how this process is going. I'm essentially looking for interesting castles to defend throughout Calradia, taking these castles, putting a small garrison there, and then looking for trouble. Right? We have this army of stacked companions from our main campaign. We've got a couple upgrades here. Of course, Zuvan is getting better at tactics. I think with the tactics you fellas are seeing on the channel, we should be maxed out, right? Well, of course, we haven't spent the points in that category to max out our tactics. There's a small force of Battanians sieging here, but it's just barely enough to probably even challenge the castle. So at this stage, I'm just sort of mumbling into my mic. And these kind of episodes often end up in the dustbin, right? Nobody ends up seeing these episodes unless an actual large siege approaches. Now, we are surrounded here by Battanian castles and cities, so it's conceivable that this is just the start of their onslaught. In fact, it looks like there's another army. Here's another very large army coming. So this will do, right? We've got 100 here, another 120 there, and 2,100 Battanians coming down here. I don't think they're at war with anybody else down here, so it's almost certain that they're coming for this castle. So 2,800, this will be almost 3,000, maybe more, as other forces continue to stream in here. The garrison has a couple hundred, and we have about 540 very high-end troops in our army here, perfect for a siege defense here. We're going to have to break in here. We're going to lose some troops on the way in, but that's well worth it. And like most of these castles, I've pre-scouted it out, right? Like Napoleon at the Battle of Austerlitz, we've gone ahead and looked at our battlefield ahead of time, so we're prepared to make a siege defense here, and it looks like we're going to have a siege defense. Here they come, motherfucker. This is what happens when you're at war with everybody and you only have two possessions, right? We have this castle and one other castle, and so the enemy just is sending all of their forces. Look at this shit. They're just converging from all sides. 2,100. This is going to be over 4,000. Fucking beautiful. Do some last minute upgrades here. Of course, we need to have our army be as strong as possible here, and I'm going to recruit a bunch of these prisoners. This will still mean we're outnumbered probably 4 or 5 to 1 in this series. As with all this series, we're not winning every episode, right? Sometimes we lose these episodes. Sometimes we get overwhelmed in a castle. But as long as it's an interesting siege, as long as it's epic, you know you're going to see it here on our Epic Siege series. Got a few last upgrades to do with some companions here. Continue to sort of fill out our strong army full of these elite companions. And await the onslaught here. 21. This is 4,500. They've got a siege tower built already. And in we go here. They are attacking. So normal player damage, of course, this entire series. We're going to fight it out on the hardest difficulty. Just the concept is on the hardest difficulty, right? We're intentionally not gathering other mercenaries and whatnot to our army here to make it as hard as possible. Now, this castle before, I have fought here before. I've actually had many battles in a castle layout like this, and I've got some ideas to make some improvements on my previous attempts. We're going to use as many of these different spots we can position archers like this to rain down death into this courtyard. You can put another band of them here. I'd like to have skirmishers too at sort of mid-range from the enemy as they pour in. I want to be able to hit them with a combination of javelins and arrows. But in keep siege defense, generally it's better to have archers and crossbow because they have unlimited ammo. Your javelin guys work really well in smaller sieges and are not as strong in very long sieges like this. Simple reason, they run out of javelins. Now, I'm not going to be defending the gate as strongly as I normally do. We're going to be attempting essentially a courtyard defense here. I'm not going to just let them waltz through the front gate. We'll still try to defend, but this is going to be a different style of defense. Right, you notice I'm positioning archers way back in the courtyard. I'm not bothering with archers on the walls. When you're outnumbered this badly against so many troops, your archers on the walls get smoked by the enemies here. Especially if this is Battania. That means there's going to have Battanian Fiend champs, etc. You know, absolutely lighting up our guys on the walls. It's just not an option. It won't work. All right, so 7th Archers there, 8th Corps can be here. This is some of my best units. They're going to kind of hold the line there. I'm going to have at least 2 infantry squares. I think this, let's see, the 2nd and the 3rd. I think the 2nd and the 3rd can be infantry squares. And we're going to kind of shuffle those back and forth depending on the needs, right? If there's a big press of men, we may use them to attack, we may use them in shield wall, or we may use them in a square. See, these guys squared up nicely here. I'm trying to block the enemy's access to our archers and skirmishers. And with these guys, of course, we will do a little bit of gate blocking early on. Like all keep sieges, I like to see what the fuck is going on, right? Information as a battlefield commander is probably your most important element, right? You must know what's happening, where the enemy's attacking from, what kind of attacking forces they have, where their siege tower is, etc. So we're going to get a lay of the land here. I'm looking for counter siege as well, so I can fire down some exploding bombs on the enemy. And I like to just generally overlook the battlefield. Again, just like Napoleon, preparation for a battle is as much or even more important as the actual tactics of the battle. Here's a nice choke point. I've got the skirmishers there in the line, and they have dual purpose, right? They're helping defend from this direction, and they're also going to be throwing at guys that throwing javelins at guys that come through that main courtyard. I hear siege rumbling above me here, so we're going to try to get on this and fire some shots here. I'd love to destroy that siege tower. Fuck, it's already out of view. So not great positioning, and I got fucking Doofus the Clown here loading up my fireballs. I don't really even have a target here. The troops below me can't be hit. That just got smoked by archer fire. So we're going to fire some shots out here on these archers. Yeah, never mind, actually. We're going to throw a lot by hand here. I should have ladder guys coming somewhere soon, almost immediately, in fact. We're going to rain down some death here. They're in a perfect position for us to just kill them en masse. Whoops, I need to adjust my settings here. I apologize for that. Sometimes we run with a little bit more of a cinematic feel, but I want you guys to see the damage and kind of know what's going on during the battle. Kaboom! Right, the whole screen just lit up with fucking dead Battanians. We're going to throw these until we're out of bombs or we're out of enemies. Should be a ram. Yeah, these guys are vulnerable too. This tower is beautifully positioned. Now, unfortunately, the game doesn't have great AI. Otherwise, I would have archers all around the top of this ring, just absolutely raining arrows down. The AI just does not, and somebody was right. I can't remember the name of the subscriber. They're right. It's a major oversight of the AI that it doesn't use the cover. The whole idea of these little indents in the wall here is you shoot and then you get behind it while you're reloading. While you're grabbing an arrow, while you're reloading your crossbow, you fucking get out of sight. Well, unfortunately, the AI doesn't do a very good job of that. Alright, the enemy's making a puncture point on the right, on our right flank, and I can't really even spot the left flank from here. It's too far away. I can't hit those guys anymore. And so it looks like it's pretty much time to move. I must have killed half the guys that are down there, right? There's just a big pile of bodies, the 80 or 100 elite troops that I've blown up. And I think it's time to move on to a better spot here. I think I just heard the ram go down. I heard like a huge explosion. So that's either the ram going down or the outer gate going down. But it's the courtyard where we're going to earn our bacon. All of these archers up here, it looks like we lost a few. I see 3 or 4 dead guys there, but they're still shooting. And vitally, they're going to have crossfire on the troops as they enter the keep. Okay, beautifully. These guys are all packed up here. They're just awaiting a fireball. Kill a lord, kill like 20 fucking troops. And they just burst through the gate. So we need to charge here with this division. I'm going to try to slow them down. And as usual, throw these rocks. You could actually almost just copy-paste the first 3 minutes of most keep siege defenses. It's very similar. There's not a lot of dynamism to it. Unfortunately, the enemy doesn't like rush the keep faster sometimes. The AI is fairly predictable in the first 3 minutes of a keep. It's what happens afterwards that creates the beautiful chaos of a good keep defense. You see all these little intricate walkways and shit like that. This is going to be a really interesting castle to defend. I see the bolts and shit flying in here. That means our allies are over here lighting people up. There's 1,000 javelins already on the ground. And the infantry that I charged, we're going to start bringing it back, right? I want them to have archer support. I don't want these guys barreling ahead with 15 or 20 guys against the enemy, right? These guys are going to get crushed. In fact, I see troops that are outside there. They're just lost, essentially. Here comes a large press of elite troops from the left side, right? That's where the siege tower is, and there's not much I can do about that, right? I can't defend every single entrance in a situation like this. So we're going to get onslaughts of the enemy. It's how we deal with them that's going to decide whether or not we win or lose. God damn, that guy got a fucking nasty hit. Fucking asshole. Die! We're moving the square back because I don't see enough javelins and arrows pounding in here. I'm basically counting on those guys holding out for a while the rest of these archers go to work. You see those boys up there on the wall. You can see the arrows flying in. And now I can supplement them here with javelins, right? We've got high-level companions pounding them with 250 plus bow skill, and javelins are flying in there, exploding shields and killing guys left and right. This is, you know, critical strategy in keep defense. It's extremely effective. The enemy's wading in, but we have a whole second square keeping our archers protected here. I wish these guys were elevated, but you can see most of them can still shoot. I see 1,000 javelins flying over towards the enemy. In fact, I'm going to hold fire occasionally with my this chick just throwing javelins straight against the wall. She's literally throwing one after another straight against the wall. So she needs less ale. We've got some drunk companions here, evidently. But we're going to collect all these javelins. There's fucking javelins everywhere. They're just laying all over the ground. And we're going to take advantage of these errant throws. Look at those javelins literally bouncing off the wall all around me. Yeah, you ain't getting by, motherfucker. That guy got drilled right in the head. And so far, it's just a trickle. The amount of troops that are coming in has been slow. That generally means that the enemy is piling up troops somewhere for a surge, right? We can expect to see huge surges of enemies in this battle. It's just a matter of when. The left is clear. They're not using the siege tower, at least for the moment. But what I see when I look at the numbers holding the alt button is a huge amount of troops coming our way. When you're outnumbered as bad as we are right now, the enemy comes in waves of 700 and 800 at a time. It's just these huge fucking waves. This is just the calm before the storm. Now this side over here, there's those troops that were holding it. I can't remember what division that is. I want to say that's the 1st Division, but I'm not sure. Basically, I had some troops over here holding the right, and I think they're finally starting to melt away. The AI gets a little bit jittery. Look at, there's fucking 500 guys down here. The AI gets a little bit jittery in situations like this because they're not sure what the best route is into the castle. It's trying to decide what the safest route is, what the best chances of getting in, and it doesn't always work smoothly. Hopefully it doesn't stutter too much during battle. But another big pile of rocks here. These enemies just have a fucking sign on them that says "kill me." We're gonna comply. It's not the most dynamic part of Keep Siege, but when you're fighting fucking 4,700 or whatever fucking Battanians, you know, you'll do everything you can. And this is a realistic element of Keep Siege, right? In actual medieval Keep Sieges, they would throw all kinds of shit at the attackers, right? They would do rocks like this. They would throw fucking exploding vials of oil that would then be lit on fire. They did all kinds of savage things to discourage guys. They would lower down hoops that were like metallic encrusted hoops that were heated beforehand and try to wrap it around the defenders' necks as they would come up. I mean, all kinds of vicious and savage things. They'd pour boiling oil. That's not like, you know, something out of the movies. That's something they would actually do. Now, I don't think it would catch fire very often, but just the boiling oil alone, right, that would burn the fuck out of you and you would be out of there, right? If you were a troop and you had boiling oil pouring all over you, you're out of commission and probably dying a very bad death. We got another beautiful pile of rocks right here, so we're just going to continue to rain these things down. Now, in a situation like this where I'm just literally throwing these rocks over and over again, I'm watching really just for one thing, and that's death spam, right? My eyes aren't anywhere near the other side of the keep situation here, so I really have no idea what's happening at the gate other than the death spam. It's almost like my scout, you know, is the upper right-hand corner. As long as there's not a whole bunch of red up there, I can continue doing what I'm doing here and not focus too much on getting back to the gate. This is starting to get a little tenuous here. They've started to hem in and destroy the defenders here, but I want to get back to the gate and see what's going on there. I'm probably going to lose this this side over here with the ladders. It's just the nature of a keep siege like this, right? We're not going to be able to hold the defenses. We're going to have essentially a series of rolling defenses. As our troops get eaten up and destroyed in certain locations, we're going to have to adjust on the fly and adapt new areas to defend. This is where micromanaging in a castle siege is really valuable. Anybody who says F1, F3, well, obviously in a castle siege, that's the last thing we're going to do, right? We're not charging. We're going to be waiting for the enemy to come to us and then using as many tactics as we can. And here comes the enemy fucking pouring in now. Die, dog! So I've got a square here, but it's not very many guys. It's at this stage, it's like 9 or 10 sturdy troops, and I'm basically going to try to help them defend against this wave of enemy. Now, this is a slow wave, right? This is like 10 or 20 at a time. We can handle this without too many losses. What I'm worried about is the cascade of enemies pouring through that front gate. That's when this siege is going to get nasty. Right now, we very much have things under control, although I see a death wave happening. That's probably the right side starting to melt. Over there by the ladder. Again, I can't see it, but that's probably what's happening.
Infantry! Footmen!
Yeah, see, the first division is gone now. So the first division was guarding this right flank, and they're gone. That means... Indeed, the enemy's already here. I was going to say that means the enemy's going to be coming this way, but they're already here. So we're going to turn these skirmishers and have them prepare for these troops, and we may charge, right? This looks like a pretty large press of Battanians. We may have this skirmisher division do double duty and attack these guys just to get these guys pushed back. I want these guys providing javelin support for the front gate, but right now, I think we're going to have to fucking deal with these motherfuckers. Let's have these 6th Division here. Even though half of them ran the wrong way, it's still going to do its desired function, and that's beat off this enemy attack. The archers up there are defending well. Fuck, a huge press of troops just came in. Bad timing. All right. We're down here with the 8th Division. I do have the 6th that I can drag forward, and the guys now, this is where their javelins are really going to be useful, right? We can tell these guys to follow me and basically help surround the enemy pouring through here. It's really not a big press, though. I keep expecting to see a huge press of the enemy, and it's like 50 at a time or 30 at a time. The enemy's very much trickling in. I won't complain at this stage, right? Sometimes you can get absolutely overwhelmed in a keep siege here. The pathfinding's having a little bit of difficulty. It's kind of stuttering. I apologize for that, folks. It's definitely not my computer. Sometimes this game, it's so complex that the AI trying to figure out, you know, a million, billion variables, and it has some difficulty with it. All right, so I'm just dragging the 6th Division right now. They're effectively just a big bodyguard division, and a lot of those guys still have javelins. So we're going to use these guys here. I can effectively just use these guys, train them up here, and say, all right, there they are, boys. Sick them. I'm just wasting all my javelins here. A moment after I said, don't waste your javelins. Fortunately, there's just stacks of javelins in this defense. And the Battanians have a lot of javelin units, right? Oh, damn it. Well, there's the ritual sacrifice of one of our companions. Yeah, this Battanian fiend. Get out of here with that shit. Well, if the enemy trickles in like this, we're definitely going to have a chance to win this keep siege, right? You don't win a siege attacking with 20 at once. God, we're getting killed up here now. I just lost a companion. I think let's get these archers off here. The skirmishers can stay up here for the time being because they have shields, but these archers are really at risk here against a lot of archers down there. Yeah, I see you coming for me, fucker. Still just a sort of steady trickle of troops instead of a huge wave, although I probably shouldn't tempt fate. As soon as I say that, there's going to be 500 fucking troops pouring through the gate. Killing more fucking troops. Damn it. These wildlings are definitely some of my favorite units. I have a whole episode literally highlighting how powerful the wildlings are, and they're very valuable in siege too. They're very good defensive units, and of course their javelin skills are unmatched. I mean, outside of a companion, they're the best unit for javelins, I think, in the game. Maybe the veteran or the vanguard Asteroid Ferris are comparable, but the fact that the wildlings have 10 javelins just puts them in a class of their own. So still the enemy trickle here. I can handle this. We like this. It doesn't make for the most rapturous battle, but this is certainly, we can handle 4,800 Battanians coming in 20 at a time. That upper area, they're trickling up there. And they continue to sort of trickle into the courtyard here. We'll see if that changes. This line is barely holding here, and there's definitely more troops coming through the gate now. Yeah, I can see fucking large waves of troops. We're going to drag the skirmishers into this because the heavy fighting looks like it's about to start here. Yeah, shit. Here comes a big press of them. Time to fucking go to war with the 6th. The 8th Corps is behind me as a reserve unit, and it's time to fucking bash some brains out here. They're starting to overwhelm these squares. I see you coming, dude. Catch a javelin. The archers are smoking them. Look at that crossfire. You can just see them getting smoked by arrows. But damn it. Almost killed another companion. She's got my javelin sticking out of her back. 160 damage. That means she's on absolute fumes. I'm going to use this secondary square and move them up. I've got these other two units. We're going to use them essentially as a bodyguard division. I'll have them follow me here, and they can sort of follow me around the battlefield and give me kind of a tag team here and anybody who tries to attack us. I can't quite get these javelins here. I'd love to get more javelins. It's a little bit chaotic right now as enemies are crashing on all three sides. But this archer division here is positioned beautifully for both, right? They are doing major damage on both sides where the enemy's attacking from. Well, it's a steady stream of Battanians now coming from both directions, but it's not a crushing stream of Battanians. I mean, we're holding beautifully here. I see some deaths, but so far so good. And there's just an absolute fucking graveyard of Battanians already here. Javelin right in the head. Yeah, let's get some crossfire. If we move this square over to the side here, some troops will leak through, but they'll also get a lot of arrows into the side of the enemy right there. Yeah, you see these bodyguards just right next to me. This is hugely valuable. That's Zelik. He's got 330 one-handed skill and a shield. It's a really nice combo to have a guy with a shield running around on you when you don't have one yourself. All right, now it's getting messy. Enemies pouring in from every direction, and now they really are pouring in from every direction. Let's have our skirmishers hold the line here. The 8th Corps is doing pretty well. and we're gonna fight right around the margins of this. I see arrows whistling over my my shoulder here. We definitely have great support from the archers in those two positions. We've got our fast axe working here, and we're gonna need it because the enemy's now starting to fucking, they're storming in on crack. Sometimes the enemy, it just seems like they have a different mode. It's like turbo mode, where all of a sudden their troops just rush in, absolutely ravenous for battle. Apart from charge, I don't know if there's any way to make your units go faster. Like, there's no double time command or something like that. That's something that's really lacking in Bannerlord. Of course, that would require a huge amount of details like endurance. You know, they'd have to have like a timer on it or something. We got a chaotic scrum now. There's troops everywhere. It's fucking messy. The death spam is starting to turn red. Just chopping wood like usual. We're getting some stalls as the AI tries to figure out this complex pathfinding here. Hopefully it doesn't mar the game too much. We're gonna wade in here. This is almost entirely archers here by the front gate, so we're wading in. I want these guys to stop shooting and attack me. That way they're not shooting our companions, they're not shooting our units. So the best thing to do with archers is to get right in their face and charge them recklessly. Especially if you have a sword and shield. Just get right in their face and start slugging them. Fucking slam them with your shield, cut the occasional guy down, but stop them from shooting. Got this second square here. There's an absolute fucking carcass-laden ground of bodies here in the courtyard. I'm just dragging this second division with me because I want it positioned right offset to these archers and skirmishers. Get these skirmishers repositioned here behind me. I'm still at 3/4 health. I'm doing really well for this stage of a battle. And again, normal player damage, right? This is usually in siege. Oh shit, this is a huge wave. Alright, let's bring in this 6th division towards me. It's time to get offensive here. I'm getting fucking overwhelmed now. There's fucking 4 enemies chasing me. The center is starting to break. I think that square over there is starting to yield. We're starting to lose troops out of that division for sure. And the enemy is just pouring in like a water faucet now. I mean, they are coming in hot and heavy here. Let's send the 6th, 8th, and 2nd. This is where you need guys to charge, all right? And you need them to have health at this stage to charge, because if you're charging at this state with no fucking health, these guys get immolated immediately. Little slow motion action here as the AI tries to figure shit out. That's not intentional pausing to fucking see the gore. That's the AI trying to figure out how to fucking get into this gnarly death trap. These guys aren't looking at me at all. Bad decision. It's chaotic, but I swear we've got order to this, and I think we're getting on top of the enemy here. When I look up, it's mostly green death spam here. There are chaotic moments, but even this militia seems to be doing a pretty good job defending. Some troops are routing, or all the troops might be routing. Yeah, that's it. The enemy is fleeing. You have won the battle. Well, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. We set up a couple different death chambers here. Of course, we fucking had crossfire, archer crossfire. But that was the easiest 4,000 troops I've ever defeated, I think. I want to say. We'll have to look at the stats here in a second. I mean, it's a bloody-ass fucking battlefield, and you don't win a battle like that unless you have some preconceived tactics, unless you have an understanding of what the enemy's trying to do. But ultimately here, yeah, 3,000 troops, and look, we lost 200. And that's without holding the gate, right? Typically, to have this kind of result, you have to hold the gate. But we didn't hold any of the gates, really. We held that right side for a little bit before it dissolved. And I try to show these stats here. There's quite a few guys who want to see the stats, kind of who did what, what units got what kind of kills here. But it was a pretty well-rounded affair here. But we're going to continue on with this Epic Siege series as usual. I'm going to release all the prisoners here. We want those guys to go right back to their castles and cities, hanging their head, getting another set of troops, and heading to our next castle so that we can have another nasty defense. We're not going to win all of these. In fact, we haven't won all of these. I'm not going to spoil it and kind of tell you which ones we've won and which ones we've lost. If you're a fan of Epic Siege, though, I mean, we're only down half health. That's pretty awesome. And if you're interested in seeing more Epic Siege, please subscribe to the channel. Please like and comment if you're interested or want to see a specific challenge. If you want to see a specific castle or city defended, I'll do my very best. Obviously, I can't handle all the requests. Sometimes I simply get overwhelmed. I do have a life. My wife and I like to take vacations and go hiking and stuff like that. But if you're interested in more Siege, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, fellas. And I will see you guys next time.